talk you through the preparation and performance of a gastric emptying breath test. This test is designed to see how quickly or slowly food empties from your stomach. To perform this test, you'll be asked to eat a meal which has a carbon-13 tagged compound mixed in it. This is completely safe for you to eat, but allows us to track it through your body as it's digested. Once you've eaten this meal, your stomach will break down this carbon-13 and process it and expel it through your breath. By then taking breath samples at time intervals, we'll be able to see how quickly this compound leaves your body as an indicator of how quickly the food is being emptied from your stomach. When the box arrives with you in the post, make sure you open it up and familiarise yourself with the contents. Keep the box itself safe, as you'll use the same box to return the samples back to us once you've finished the test. Bear in mind your box might be a slightly different size or shape to this one. In your box, first of all, you will have 13 breath sample bags. So these bags like this will be labelled 1 to 13, and they'll also have your initials written on them. These are the bags you'll use to collect your breath sample throughout the test. In the box, you will also have a little pot which is labelled C13 sodium acetate. This is a small capsule of the substance you will mix in with your meal to complete the test. It's completely safe, but allows us to track it as it moves through your stomach, and so we can see how quickly it empties. In the box, you'll also have a pot of porridge, which you'll add boiling water to, and also mix in that C13 substance, so that will be the meal that you eat, so we can see how quickly that one empties from your stomach. In the box, you will also have 3 sheets of paperwork. The first one is your instructions. So it's important that you read this thoroughly before you start, so you're familiar with the process of the test, and also you can make sure that your box contains everything that it needs, as you've got the bullet points here telling you what's in the box. You also have your patient consent form, which needs your details filling in at the top, and you'll also need to sign and date down at the bottom to confirm that we have your permission to carry out this test. And lastly, you'll also have the patient information form, which has got your information on the front, and on the back it's got the sample timings on. So as you go through the test, you'll fill this in, and this one's quite important as you go through the test. In the box, we've also got a prepaid postage label. So once you've finished with the test, everything goes back in the box, and you can stick this label on the top and drop it at your post box when you've finished. Before you plan a date for your test, it's important that you read the instructions carefully, as there may be some preparation that you'll need to follow. It's important that you follow this preparation exactly, as not doing so could affect the results of your test. For 3 days before you do the test, you should avoid any pro-motility agents, which are things like domperidone or metoclopramide. For 3 days before your test, you should also not take any opiate-based painkillers, things like tramadol or codeine. You may continue with any other of your essential medications. On the day of your test, you should not eat or drink for 6 hours before you start. You may take small sips of water up to a maximum of 300 millilitres, and you can use this water to take any of your essential medications. If you are diabetic and feel like you may struggle with fasting for this length of time, please get in contact with us. On the morning of your test, you should also avoid smoking, chewing gum, or taking any mints, and you also shouldn't exercise for the 6 hours before you do the test. Ahead of time, you can also fill in your paperwork. In your box, you'll have your history sheet, which you'll need to fill in with your personal information, and also a consent form, which will have your details at the top, and you'll need to sign and date at the bottom. You should also aim to be awake for at least 1 hour before you start the test. For example, if you want to start the test at 9 AM, you should make sure you're awake from 8 AM. Do not eat or drink anything except small sips of water, and you may take your essential medication, and you may brush your teeth. Do not eat or drink anything else. You will then be ready to start your test at 9 AM. The total time for the test will be around 4 hours. Once you've finished the necessary preparations, you are ready to begin. Find the pot of porridge, remove the lid, and add the boiling water to the line indicated. Stir it well. Place the foil lid back over the top and leave it to one side for 3 to 5 minutes. During this wait, find the plastic breath bag labelled number 1. There should be a screw cap on the valve. If this is closed, turn it anti-clockwise 3 turns to open it. Take a breath in and hold it for 5 seconds. Then, make a good seal with your lips around the mouthpiece and blow into the bag, filling it as much as you can. Once the bag is full, carry on breathing out with your hand on the cap and start to tighten this to close the bag. Ensure that the cap is tight and no air is escaping. This is your baseline sample. Once the porridge has had 3 to 5 minutes, you can take the medicine capsule and mix it with the porridge. To do this, hold the capsule over the pot, twist the capsule casing apart, make sure there is no powder left in the casing, and pour the powder in. The casing can then be thrown away. Mix the porridge very well so that the powder is evenly distributed throughout the porridge. Start to eat the porridge and try to finish within 10 minutes. If you think trying to finish in 10 minutes will be a big challenge, please let us know. From this point on, you are not allowed to eat or drink anything else for the rest of the test. Make a note of the time that you finish the porridge on the sample timing sheet. Write the time in the table next to the 0 minutes row. This is your start time. Move down the rows and complete the times for each of the subsequent samples. Initially, this is at 15-minute intervals. For example, if you finished eating at 9:10, the 15-minute row will be at 9:25, then the 30-minute row will be 15 minutes later at 9:40, and so on. After the first 2 hours, the sample interval changes to every 30 minutes, so be careful to fill in with the correct timings. The history sheet will make this clear. Take each sample at the time indicated and follow the same process for completing the sample as you did with the first baseline sample. In total, you will complete 13 sample bags, and the test will finish 4 hours after you finish the porridge. It's important to keep to the right timings. If you run late with any samples or forget, take the sample as soon as you realise. Once you've completed all 13 samples, you've finished the test, so you can put everything back in the box and post it back to us to the clinic. You should have 13 fully inflated breath sample bags inside your box. Just make sure each of them are fully inflated and that the valve is shut on the top. You should also send back to us your completed paperwork. So that's your history sheet with your details on the front. And on the back is just a confirmation of the times that you took each sample and a tick when each of those samples have been completed. Put that back in your box. And we also need back your completed consent form. So this is your details at the top and just your signature and date at the bottom to confirm we've got your consent to analyse these samples. You can then close your box back up and tape it shut and apply the prepaid postage label on the top. Make sure you send this box back to the post office within 7 days so it can come back to us in the post, and then we will analyse the samples and send the results back within 2 working days. If you have any questions or queries at all about your breath test, please get in touch with us here at the Functional Gut Clinic and we'll be happy to help.